Our interviews on Spectrum, Radio 1 FM 90.
Hello, a very warm welcome. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. In Spectrum tonight, how prepared is the Adhoc Committee of Parliament on the oil and gas sector to handle investigations? Are there any impediments that could derail their work? Tomorrow, the Adhoc Committee of Parliament on the oil and gas sector and matters incidental thereto will begin work, which is a daunting task that could make or break the Ugandan oil and gas sector. MPs Stephen Tashovia, Freedom Kwiyu Chwin, Julius Junjura, Hussein Chanjo, Cecilia Ogwal, Mate Sibalingana, and Michael Werike Khafabusa, pardon my pronunciation, are part of this committee. The task ahead of the committee includes investigating allegations of bribery against ministers Emma Mbabazi, Hilary Onek, and Sam Kutesa. The committee will also examine the process of procurement of companies involved in the oil sector and also look into the memorandum of understanding between URA and Tullow Oil. It will also establish all revenues so far received by government and where they have been deposited. The committee has since last week been holding preparatory meetings to agree among themselves their work methods to ensure cohesion. Even with this level of preparation, some legislators still feel that the committee faces more challenges, especially if those suspects are still holding their offices. Now, this group plans to move a motion to have the ministers suspended from Parliament for contempt. There are also fears that this investigation might be derailed by politics and influence peddling. Some people have also suggested that this could be a mere episode, a continuation of the drama that overshadows important investigations in Parliament. On the eve of these investigations, we ask, how prepared is the ad hoc committee for the work, taking into account public perceptions and challenges that have derailed investigations by Parliament in the recent past? Our guests tonight, Hon.Gerald Michael Werike, chairman of the ad hoc committee on the oil and gas sector and the Committee of National Resources, also member of Parliament for Bungoho South. You're most welcome, Hon.Gerald Werike.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Hon.Gerald Karuhanga, petitioner on the oil and gas sector and lead counsel of the Public Accounts Committee, also Western Uganda Youth MP. You're most welcome, Hon.Gerald Karuhanga.
Thank you.
Hon.Gerald Werike, it's coming to 2 weeks since you were approved by Parliament to take charge of investigations into the oil and gas sector. We understand you've been making preparations to ensure you do a good job. Can you tell us exactly what has been going on behind the scenes?
Thank you. Good evening, listeners, and I would like to thank the moderator. Yes, the starting point was our interface with the Speaker of Parliament to receive the terms of reference given to the committee. That was day one. Day two, we met as a committee really to understand and go through each and every term of reference to appreciate what actually lies ahead of us. So, and that's when we also drew up the roadmap as to how we are going to undertake our work. And this week we are going to begin with the various departments. Of course, we are beginning with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development to arm ourselves with the documents, because we talk of production sharing agreements as one of those tools that we are going to use, really, because they feature so much in our resolution of Parliament. Of course, we have also to look at various documents pertaining to the oil companies, where the oil wells are, how far these have actually gone, what status we have as far as these wells are concerned of oil and gas. So those are the kind of things that we have been actually looking at, and how we are going to move generally over a period of 3 months.
Is that time enough for you?
Well, that's the time given to us by Parliament. Of course, the provision is that in case we are not able to cover the task within 3 months, as we go towards the benchmark, I think we will be able to, we could request for an extension, but I hope we are going to do our work within 3 months.
Hon.Gerald Karuhanga, what do you have up your sleeve before you appear before this committee? What do you want to present to them?
One, I find a very, very difficult situation before everyone in Parliament, and particularly for this committee. You have the Prime Minister running office. Normally, he can summon anybody at any time. The head of CID, the Inspector General of Police himself. Talk of any head of department in this government, the Prime Minister has powers. Maybe apart from the President and the Vice President and maybe the Speaker of Parliament and the Chief Justice. He can summon anybody at any time. The entire police force falls under Minister Hillary Oneka as the Minister for Internal Affairs. The whole of it. Actually, shortly before we came here, I asked my colleague Hon.Gerald Werike whether he was running a security company, and he told me no. Because, and I know it, this committee does not even run a security company. They don't even have an LD unit that reports to them. Because they report to the formal arrangement of government, which is run by these ministers. We have the Internal Affairs Minister in question, we have the Prime Minister. So we are saying, how are these investigations going to be carried out? I mean, honestly, he doesn't, my colleague Hon.Gerald Werike, he doesn't even run a security company that he will even probably use to even send and pick some documents anywhere. They are going to rely on the police. The police that is directly under Hillary Oneka. And the Prime Minister can summon anyone, any of these fellows. The other time they were talking about the investigation that were carried out by one Mr. Ndunguse, who happens to be from Kanungu, where Honorable Amambabas comes from. So we want to give the benefit of doubt. These men are very competent. They can probably do lots of research and investigation. But the circumstances they find themselves in, I'm very sure it's a very, very challenging situation. It's a predicament. Because you have a situation, you know, it's like asking a superintendent of police to investigate the Inspector General of Police when he's in his office. He can actually even choose to fire him, and will transfer him, send him, say, oh, go and investigate in Congo, do some work anywhere. You see, so I don't know why, and this is what everyone is asking. Honorable Sam Kutesa stepped aside and he stated it. He stated that for the debate, the oral debate in Parliament, and for the charges against him in the Anti-Corruption Court, I have chosen to step aside. Wrote to the Speaker formally. So why does the Honorable Mama Mbabazi, the Honorable Hero, why do they think that government will not run? Uganda will cease to be if they step aside for 3 months. They're not even resigning anyway. We are just saying take leave of office. Where is the difficulty?
All right, Honorable Werike, that sounds like a big, thing in front of you. It could be an obstacle. How do you intend to overcome it?
I think for us, we rely on the person who gave us this task, or rather, that's Parliament,
yes,
and the Speaker. Because as a committee, we cannot actually do much. And we put this even to, we shared this with the Speaker when she was actually flagging us off. And she promised she was going to continue interacting with His Excellency the President, because he's the one who actually appointed the ministers. So we got that assurance, and we believe and hope that
they'll step aside.
Yeah, that the Speaker will actually deliver.
So you're better off with these men out of the office. That's why your ideal situation. You would work better, you know.
Of course, if you're investigating someone who is incumbent, it is a different story from that one where someone is not actually in place.
All right, Hon.Gerald Karuhanga, let's assume scenario-based planning.
Yes.
Assume our managers, and these men stay in office. What could happen? 3 months later, they do their job. Paint a picture for us there.
It becomes very ironical that, like I gave you an example, these fellows, if they remain in office,
yes,
certainly.
Do you think they will sabotage things?
If one really came up with the claim and said they have already sabotaged the process, he would competently probably have some ground to be supported.
Right.
Reason being, you see, these are very serious matters. They go directly not only to their officers, but also to the individual reputation of these fellows.
Right.
Now, somebody is going to do everything possible
to protect their
at
name.
at his means, at his disposal. You'll try to use all the opportunities available,
right,
to try to secure his name, try to secure and advance politically.
Right. Okay.
Now, you know our politics here. The Prime Minister is so powerful.
Yes.
He is constitutionally empowered to supervise
all government business,
including Parliament. In fact, my colleague here, Hon.Gerald Werike, they are at a risk because whereas it's true the names of the chairpersons of committees are forwarded by the party chief whips, by the leader of government business,
yes,
in Parliament is the Prime Minister. So I wouldn't.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, there could be also it could be a ransom. Say, you fellows, we shall. But I think they will stand their ground. I want to be confident and they will stand their ground. But honestly, you are a leader of government business in Parliament of Uganda. You sat through all these resolutions. He saw how the House was so resolute. We are 375 MPs. Probably there were 2 MPs or 3 who stood up and tried really to oppose this, apart from the individuals that were named. Now, you are saying I'm very clean, these are forgeries, there's nothing. We are saying take leave. Apparently, I don't want to think that in the 5 years, the honorable members and the honorable Karuhanga will not take leave for the 5 years. Probably want to imagine they will take leave at some point. And we are saying, please take leave.
Take it now.
Yes, take it now.
It's a good time.
Yes, take leave for 3 months. We are not even saying resign.
Right.
Take leave and allow the investigation process to be independent.
Take leave for about 3 months.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want anybody to come up and say, oh, you influenced the process anyway.
Even if they say you're clean,
yes,
they report, because our process, they say, was credible.
Yeah. The reports.
Because, I mean, even if it came out and you did not resign, and it says you're a clean man, people will say, no, you're not, because the process was not credible.
Of course, that's our argument. And that's why we are saying tomorrow that, look, these fellows, if they insist, they were in Parliament, they didn't, well, none of them can say he has never gotten information, has never been informed about the parliamentary resolution. We are saying our rules of Parliament are very clear.
Yes.
Rule 195, sub-rule 2 is so clear on the contempt of Parliament. You disobey a resolution of Parliament, it clearly tantamounts to contempt of Parliament.
Yes.
And we are saying the rules are clear, that you can be suspended for 3 months, 6 months.
So you're saying, because they refuse to step aside, yes, Parliament should suspend them?
Yes, because
that's what you're going to do tomorrow.
Exactly, that's what we are pushing for tomorrow. If the motion succeeds tomorrow, they will be suspended.
Including the Prime Minister. Do you have powers over the Prime Minister?
No, we are going to suspend them this time as members of Parliament.
You will suspend the Prime Minister as MP for Chinchizi?
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yes. If the motion
but it will be Prime Minister, it won't help you much.
Yeah, but it will be, we shall have sent a message.
You'll have embarrassed him.
Yes, you will have, one thing, and this is what actually is very critical here. They are empowered, and I wouldn't be surprised probably if they have already even cleaned up. But one thing is that there is some information that seeps through and gets to people, and people really get to know who these people are. I mean, this already tells so much. You have had all this time. For the last 3 weeks, we've been pushing here and there.
Yes.
That please step aside. I don't know, but honestly, if I'm a clean person, Edmond, if I'm so clean and somebody's making weird allegations,
you're better off.
I say, please do investigations, and then I will come out, and they would come out strong. But already this tells you that probably there is something, that indeed there must be something wrong.
All right, Honorable, can you take us through the roadmap? What you intend to do in the 3 months?
As I said, we are beginning with institutions that handle issues relevant to the oil sector, beginning with the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. Thereafter, we will also meet the Ministry of Finance, because Ministry of Finance is related to this oil business in the form of course, looking at agreements as well also. And there's something to do with revenue, therefore, and taxes. Of course, Ministry of Finance is involved. Revenue Authority is involved. We have Bank of Uganda, because when you look at the resolution, money is alleged to have been transferred within, I think, a very short time from account X to account Y. Thereafter, we will, of course, now invite our colleagues who are petitioners, because for us, we really don't have information. Presumably, we are saying, yes, there is a case here, therefore, Hon.Gerald Karuhanga will be invited to lay his information before the committee. So are others. And then, of course, in the process, we are going to interact with so many players, stakeholders, players related in one way or the other to the oil sector. And of course, we have we may even actually transcend the boundaries of Uganda, looking for information.
You may travel abroad.
Yeah, in other words, yes, because as you might have heard, the allegation is that money changed hands, moved from certain countries to other countries. So really, this has also to be traced, because that's the only way. Because in doing all this, we want to give Ugandans the true picture as to what transpired indeed in this oil saga. So that's how we're going to move. Of course, the roadmap will be reviewed from time to time, depending on how we have actually gotten information from people who appear before the committee.
Right. Yeah. You've interacted with the Speaker. Do you think she's very interested in this? You think she'll back you to the hilt?
Yes, as our leader of the institution that actually is pursuing this case, yes, she is going to provide the support that the committee requires to execute this work.
How about you? Some people think there's a conflict of interest. You're chairman, but you used to work for the Ministry of Energy. Will that conflict with the TRS in terms of...
No, I think, let me make this clear. I had a stint at the ministry for 5 months. During the reshuffle, and I was specifically assigned to handle the electricity part of it. Honorable Commander Bataringaya was the one responsible for minerals and oil. In fact, I left the ministry without even looking at the so-called production share. I have never. Yeah, that is the sincere submission I can make.
So you don't have any. You don't think you don't.
In case there is anything, I'll step aside.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, if I'm found actually involved, I will step aside. Of course, the committee has 7 people. They can do the work.
You can choose a new chairman.
Yeah.
And what do you have as you begin this investigation? You must have some files. What do you have?
We have actually the instruments that we were given are terms of reference.
That's all that you have?
The resolution of Parliament, the Hansard, because we really have to look at each and everything that was submitted or said on the floor of the House before we can actually digest the task that we have.
Honorable Karuhanga, what are you going to present to these people when you show up?
Well, largely what we had present, we presented it to the House, and the reason was that it is for the general public, because we don't represent ourselves. We represent the interests of Ugandans who elected us and who make sure that we actually earn a living every month. There is one thing the Honorable Werike has mentioned, which is, and I want everyone to look at it, whoever is listening. The Prime Minister clears every public servant, including members of Parliament, for any foreign trip, as far as particularly the maintenance and per diem of the individuals involved. Everyone knows this who works for public service or in public service. Now, these people, these colleagues are going probably, them or people they probably will appoint, are going to be traveling. And they will need the Prime Minister to clear them, give them money to go and investigate him.
No, I think I need to correct.
Yes.
So for us as Parliament, we run our own budget.
Yes.
And I think the clearance is within. Maybe the Prime Minister comes in here, maybe because he sits on the business committee, because he's also a member.
Not as PM.
But I think
he signs on every person, even our parliament. I traveled to South Africa. I came back on Saturday.
Okay, but
I was doing totally parliamentary work, youth affairs. And up to now, actually, we haven't been, because I said, okay, I will not wait for the Prime Minister to clear because we had to go and travel. I said, I will travel on my own if he clears it well, and if he doesn't. The other day we were in London. He's the one who cleared our. So every padium, every allowance that we get when we travel abroad is cleared by the Prime Minister.
So do you think he'll block some of those?
He can choose to drain it. However, of course, Parliament can also have his ways of going around it. And then he clears later, and then there can be some pressure that he clears it. But you can see the challenge, you can even see the nitty-gritties, even the smaller things, how he has that influence, how that office is so powerful. Because look, every ministry in this country falls under his supervision. So he can influence, certainly he can. And this is obvious.
That's patently clear. Thank you for that clarification. This is Spectrum on Radio, and tonight, how prepared is the Adhoc Committee of Parliament on the oil and gas sector to handle investigations? Are there any impediments that could derail their work? We're going for a break. We'll be back. Do stay tuned.
I wanna be alive and free. 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 I wanna be alive and free.
Uganda Warike, the spirit that binds us. Strictly not for sale to persons under 18 years. Please drink responsibly. Is your internet provider turning your world upside down? Broadband Company offers fast and reliable internet solutions. And for the first 100 subscribers this month, we offer zero connection fees. Save up to 400,000. For more information on these offers, call toll-free 0800 222 111.
Broadband Company, more than you expect. Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90 is brought to you by Stanbic Bank.
Welcome back on Spectrum tonight. How prepared is the Adhoc Committee of Parliament on the oil and gas sector to handle investigations? Are there any impediments that could derail their work? Our guests tonight, Hon.Gerald Werike, Chairman of the Adhoc Committee on the oil and gas sector and the Committee of Natural Resources, also member of Parliament for Bungoho South. We also have Hon.Gerald Karuhanga, Petitioner on the oil and gas sector and lead counsel of the Public Accounts Committee and member of Parliament for Youth Member of Parliament for Western Uganda. You'll be able to call in and contribute to this discussion in a short while. Hon.Gerald Werike, we understand you plan to hire experts and consultants to help you. What does it mean? Can you give us a submit on that?
Yeah, indeed, because we don't have all the experts. Expertise actually within our committee. Even from the point of view of legal issues, we did request the Speaker, and she has actually accordingly written to various professional groups in the legal, among the legal fraternity and even the accounting field, because We are going to deal with the serious and critical issues in accountancy, in legal, and so we will certainly need some people who are going to help us in investigation. Forensic investigations, you really have to have experts. So, and that one actually has been undertaken by the Speaker. So